Hey, put the women and kids to bed. It's Wrestling Rocks, and I'm here with our special guest Chris Marks. He's uh, part of Southern Honor Wrestling. He's going to tell us a little bit about them. They're based out of Canton, Georgia. They really picking up some momentum. I heard that they're on TV now, so that's awesome. What's up, Chris?
How's it going, man?
Not much. Just getting over that pneumonia. Feeling
I'm
good.
glad you're
Feeling
fully
good.
recovered.
Yeah, me too. That was not fun. But yeah, tell us a little about Southern Honor Wrestling.
Southern Honor Wrestling is a promotion out of Canton, Georgia. Just like you said, they started about 3 years ago, and basically, there's a whole documentary on YouTube that they just put out in honor of their anniversary show. You can check it out on YouTube. It's called Southern Honor Hold Your Fork. But basically, this guy Dylan, lifelong wrestling fan, and when he moved to Georgia, he started working for Diamond Dallas Page (DDP) over at his yoga center in Smyrna, and just got so many connections, learned a lot of business, and he's a wrestler himself. He goes under the name of Bulldog James Dillon and Sunny Days, which is kind of a monster with face paint and stuff like that, freaky guy. But he booked shows up in his hometown up north, but he always wanted to like really create something brand new. And like I said, the documentary goes into way more detail. But long story short, he was able to hook up with a really great promoter known as Gary Lamb, and they got a lot of the guys over at the DDP Yoga Center, a lot of the videographers, a lot of the editors, a lot of the other guys who worked there. They all came together as a team, and they were able to create Southern Honor Wrestling. And their first show was 2000, October of 2018. And because their promoter, Gary, he's got a big mouth on him. He likes to talk a lot of
Stir the
smack. He
pot.
likes to stir the pot,
I saw that
absolutely.
on the
And
yeah.
according to Gary, like professional wrestling in Georgia, or at least in the indie scene, professional wrestling in Georgia had gotten really stale. So they needed something to shake things up. So they had a lot of pressure to put on a good first show. And I'm not sure how much you guys follow the indies, but it doesn't matter what state it is, whether it's Georgia, California, Texas, whatever. In independent wrestling, it's very, very hard for them to draw a big crowd. I mean, most wrestling promotions, they'll get one, two, maybe 300 people at
At the
most. And those,
most, yeah.
yeah, 300 is a pretty good crowd in the indie scene. Um, Southern Honor got 300 on his very first show,
Wow.
which you can ask any indie promoter, that's unheard of.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
their first show, they put on a killer card. They declared their new first champion. And Diamond Dallas Page was on the show. He made a surprise appearance. Even they didn't know he was going to show up, but he did to support them. And they had him introduce the championship belt. And legendary Raven was there. And they just put on a kick ass show. And basically, Southern Honor Wrestling, they put on one show every month. They try to keep it around the first Friday of every month. And here we are 3 years later, and they are the number one promotion in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
They they get the biggest crowds. They have the best production values, the best stories, the best wrestlers. They get top tier talent that it's available. And Georgia, most states have this, but Georgia has the Georgia Wrestling History Awards, which is like best wrestler, best promotion, best booker, et cetera, et cetera. The last 2 years in a row, Southern Honor Wrestling has done a clean sweep. They have won
Wow.
every award there is to win at these things, and it doesn't look like that's going to slow down anytime soon. But
Wow. Okay.
they just had their third anniversary show, and I was there, and it was killer. We had over 500 people at that show, and they had the first ever War Chamber match, which is basically a hybrid between War Games and the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, okay.
So they had two rings, two cages, and they started with two guys in the ring, and then every 3 minutes a new guy comes out, and you eliminate by
Wow.
pinfall or submission.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Did
And
they have the two rings?
yeah,
Oh,
wouldn't be the
wow.
first time they've had two rings. They had
That's
War Games
awesome.
at their first anniversary show, and that's just when you got two rings and two cages, it's just
Yeah, it's
chaos.
awesome. Yeah, just awesomeness from especially back in the NWA days. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that they did they have. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they have almost 1,000 people at one show?
They did. In their first year, they Southern Honor had been building up so much hype. They had shows with like 400 people, and there was one show where they were trying to get 500, and they ended up getting over 600, just
Wow.
because word of mouth was getting out, and they kept having all these cool surprises and all these special guests. They had the first show they had Raven and DDP. Some other shows they had David Arquette show up. They had Jake the Snake showed up. They had Scott
Wow. Yeah.
Hall. Austin Theory used to wrestle for Southern Honor their first year. So they were just putting out kick ass matches, but the it wasn't even an anniversary show. It's just Gary having the big mouth that he is. He's like, we're gonna put 1,000 people in here, and all the guys backstage were like, what did he just say? How the heck? And he was talking
Yeah.
about a show that was 2 months in the future, so they had 2 months to like set this all up. But basically, a lot of the guys over at Southern Honor, they have very strong connections with AEW. Um, Dylan, I mentioned Dylan. He's one of the wrestlers, but he's also the booker of Southern Honor. Pretty much any behind the scenes video package that you see on AEW, more than likely he filmed it and edited it.
Oh wow.
And one of
Wow.
the other guys who's a big shot with Southern Honor, Nathan Mowry, he's a videographer and editor as well, and he recently started wrestling under the name Killbilly. He likes those hardcore death matches,
Yeah.
and I've seen some of the crazy stuff he does.
Wow.
Fire, thumbtacks, he's done it all.
Oh wow.
But Nathan, he does a lot of video and editing for AEW as well. And Cody comes to the um, DDP Yoga Center in Smyrna all the time, so they've met him and they communicate with him a bunch of times. So, long story short, this show that Southern Honor did that drew 1,000 people. This was right before AEW's first pay per view, and what happened was Cody was already talking to them about showing up on this show, but the main event for that very first AEW pay per view was Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega, the big rematch that everybody was talking about. But the problem AEW was having, the only time they had ever wrestled before was in New Japan.
Hmm.
And New Japan was not giving anybody any of the footage to promote the match.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So AEW, they were desperate to get footage of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega fighting. So Southern Honor, they put on the show and they promoted that Cody Rhodes was going to be there, and they promoted that we might have some surprise guests. And just because of word of mouth, just because of the reputation that Southern Honor had built in such a short time, and because Cody Rhodes was going to be there, we drew 1,027 people at that
Wow.
show. That was
That's
the
strong.
largest. That was the largest crowd an indie show had ever drawn in 25 years in
Yeah.
Georgia.
Wow.
And so everybody knew Cody was going to be there. Everybody knew what the card was. Shannon Moore was in the
Oh
main
yeah.
event. They had a couple other big names, but everybody knew that there was potentially a special guest, but no one knew who it was specifically. I knew Jericho was going to show up just because I knew their connections. But long story short, in the main event after the match was over, the lights went out. Chris
And
Jericho
Omega.
shows up in the ring and he starts beating up guys with a chair. The crowd's going nuts, and then the lights go out again. They come back up.
I
Kenny
saw
Omega's
that.
right
Yeah.
there in the ring, and he's
That was badass.
just the pop was
Yeah.
unbelievable. So Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho were just battling in the ring, and then they had all the faces on one side with Kenny Omega and all the heels on the other side of the ring with Chris Jericho, and then they had an all-out brawl, and it was insanity.
That's awesome.
And so that got AEW the footage they needed of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega fighting, and that got Southern Honor the two biggest stars in wrestling at that time on their show. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and that got so much attention. It was just going all over the internet. So that put a big star on Southern Honor Wrestling for that point.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Isn't Dylan? Is it Dylan the Booker? You said.
Yeah, Dylan's a booker, and
Didn't
he's one of the wrestlers. Yeah.
wrestlers? Yeah. Didn't he meet Diamond Dallas Page with for yoga, DDP yoga?
Dylan and DDP, they met a long time ago, and uh, Dallas was trying to help Dylan get his life on track. Get him, help him lose weight, help him, because Dylan was really young when he first met Dallas. He was a teenager, and then he moved to Georgia. He was working for Dallas, and basically, yeah, Dallas just helped him lose a lot of weight, and got him, helped him learn a lot about the wrestling business, helped him figure out what he wants to do for the rest of his life, and he books his own promotion. He is working almost full time for AEW, and he's a wrestler. So
That's awesome.
he's
Dream
he's
come,
living the dream.
drum, yeah, dream come true. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, we're gonna start the show and go through some results. First, I'm gonna start with Impact from last week or this week, or yeah, last week. El Fantasmo beat Rohit Raju, and Willie Mack gave that 4 stars. Savannah Evans beat Lady Frost. That was 3 stars. Rich Swan beat VSK. That's 2 stars. And Chris Sabin beat Chris Bay, 4 star match. And then they had the Battle Royal with Morrissey throwing out, or no, Chris, was it? Oh, yeah, Morrissey won. He threw out Chris Sabin at the end. That was a 3 star match. And though, so Morrissey goes in at number 20 in the gauntlet match at Bound for Glory, and Sabin has to start at number 1 for Bound for Glory. Did you catch that, Chris?
I haven't
Impact?
watched Impact in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I got him on the app. They got a cool app that you can watch all the from 2002 on. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it was overall pretty good show for Impact. I give it 3 stars overall. So we'll bounce to SmackDown.
I was going to say
Supersize.
the last thing I saw for Impact was the merging with AEW and Christian
Yeah,
Cage winning the title from Kenny Omega.
yeah, that was cool. I like how they're kind of doing the interpromotional with the NWA and Impact to hopefully help each other out a
New
little bit.
Japan as well.
Yeah, New Japan. I like seeing the guys from New Japan. Uh, I'd like to watch some New Japan. I don't know how to watch them. I guess you just do they have an app?
Um, I'm sure if you Google it, there's got to be
Yeah,
something. If they're not on IWTV, they're probably on YouTube. But I'm honestly not sure. I've never watched New Japan live. I've always
yeah,
watched like clips of stuff from the
clips.
past.
Yeah, the old classics with Hanson and Vader and all that old stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll jump right into supersize SmackDown. uh, King of the Ring, Finn Balor beat Sami Zayn, 4 stars. Handicap match, Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler beat Naomi, 2 stars. That was a smash match. Queen of the Ring, Zelina Vega beat Carmella, which I thought was a mild upset with 2 stars. The tag team titles, the Usos in a street fight beat the Street Profits. That was a 4 star match, best match of the night. And
Hmm.
then in the main event, non-title match, Sasha Banks beat Becky Lynch, non-title 4 stars, and then Reigns and Lesnar had the contract signing. Did you happen to catch SmackDown?
I caught the highlights of it, and there was that
Yeah.
big thing like, "Oh no, Paul Heyman is still
Where is he gonna
consulting with
go?
Brock Lesnar, where his allegiances
Yeah,
lie."
that
And I'm
slime
just
ball.
like, "Oh my god, who didn't see this coming?" The
Yeah,
second I saw Brock Lesnar coming back, I'm
yeah,
like, "Okay, I know
they're,
exactly where they're
yeah,
going with
yeah,
this."
yeah. Predictable WWE. You know, that's why I love AEW. It's just something for us smart marks.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
you're not a kiddie
Because like
show.
just when you think that you got it all figured out,
They
boom, here
change
comes
it.
out someone new. It's like,
Just like
what?
Piper said, just when you thought you figured it out, I change all the questions.
Just
Oh
when
man,
you think you got the answers, I changed the
yeah, that's it.
questions.
That's it. I butchered it a little bit, but
But yeah, I was.
SmackDown's getting better though. Lately,
I don't know. Because I noticed, the talents shift with the draft. For months now, I've thought that SmackDown was better than Raw simply
yeah,
because of the talent
me
that they
too.
have. But now they've kind of switched a lot of that, and
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to shift back over to Raw having more,
yeah,
stars than SmackDown. But we'll see
yeah.
what
I've been
happens.
thinking Raw's getting better too, and it's hard to watch Raw sometimes. 3 hours though. I wish they'd go back down to 2 hours.
For I'll be honest, man, it's rare that I watch a full Raw. I
Yeah,
usually stick to those, 10-minute highlight reels on YouTube just
yeah,
to be aware
catch
of what's
up.
catching up. But every now and then, like what was it? Every now and then a match pops up that I'm like, oh, I got to go back and see that. Like they had the triple threat match, Sheamus, Damian Priest, and who was the third guy for the U.S. title triple threat match?
Was it Jeff Hardy?
Yes, yes, it was
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy, and I think it was at least. If I'm mistaking
yeah.
that, sorry,
No,
but
that's all good.
that was a crazy ass triple threat match. And then when I saw that they had John Morrison and Ricochet fighting, I'm like,
Yeah,
I gotta watch that because I
yeah,
used to watch Lucha Underground all the time, and
yeah,
Ricochet was there as Prince Puma, and John Morrison was Johnny Mundo. Damn, they had some classics back there in
yeah,
Lucha Underground. So the
yeah. I
idea of
wish.
those two fighting in WWE, I'm like, oh please.
Yeah, yeah. That's just set up to be a classic. Those two. I never got to watch Lucha Underground. I never. What channel was it on? Or
I don't remember. My buddy Raul introduced me to it, and a lot of guys that are currently on AEW, or
started there?
the first time I ever saw them was on Lucha Underground.
That's cool.
First time I ever saw the Lucha Brothers was on that show. First time I ever saw Brian Cage was on that show. First time I ever saw Ricochet. So many guys, so many amazing luchadors. That was my introduction to them,
Okay.
and it was awesome. But it's like I got bored with it after a while because they had no variety. It was just crazy high flying, crazy high flying, crazy high
Yeah.
flying. There
Well,
was
Lucha.
no
Yeah,
you
Lucha
gotta
Libre.
you gotta mix it up, otherwise it gets
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, that's Lucha Libre for you, though. That's kind of the
Yeah,
high spots, high spots. Let me do all my shit.
and I love that stuff, but it's like
Yeah, it's
in
great.
wrestling you have to mix it up. That's why, like,
Yeah,
one thing I
AEW
noticed
is so
with
good.
Crown Jewel, they had the King of the Ring finals right after Goldberg and Bobby Lashley no holds barred, which was perfect. They go from a no holds barred match to a technical wrestling match. That's how
Yeah,
it should be.
yeah. You're
So
you're you're absolutely right. That's
that's
and
how you got to do shows.
AEW does that pretty well too.
They do. They absolutely do.
Now to the good stuff. AEW Rampage. We got Omega and Page were signed for Full Gear, which I can't wait to see. That's Adam Page is. I love him. He's cowboy shit. This is it's awesome.
He was
What do you?
gone for a while. What was up with that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he was hurt or not. I don't read the dirt sheets, so I'm not sure if he was hurt or not, or what it was, or if they were just trying to take him off to build the suspense or something. I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
not
know.
sure.
Because
CM
I
Punk.
remember I was thinking the other day, I haven't heard from Cowboy in a while, and then all of a sudden, I look on there as, oh, he's the number one contender for Kenny Omega's
Yeah,
belt. Where'd that come from?
yeah. They were starting to build the feud a few months back, and then he just disappeared. I still don't know really what happened, but
Well, they were the tag team champions, and I
yeah,
think they
yeah.
did have a singles match at some point against each
Yeah, I think
other.
so. I think so too. My memory nowadays is not good. That's
Your
why
father, that's what happens.
I gotta write shit down, man. And starting the show, Rampage, CM Punk beat, I call him Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, 4-star match. Really,
I don't care what he calls himself. I love that guy.
yeah, he's awesome.
Evan
He's
Bourne,
awesome.
Matt Sydal. The second I heard that, I
Yeah,
was like, that's going to be a
that's
good
gonna be a
one.
classic. It was great to get the energy and the building going. Every time CM Punk comes out, they just pop like nothing. So
Of
it's
course they
just
do. It's Punk.
yeah, he's one of the best of all time already.
Best in
Uh,
the world.
Best in the world. Yeah. I can't wait for a year and a half when he turns heel. I love CM Punk heel.
They have a lot of the what was that? What was that faction that he had where like everybody was shaving their
Oh
heads?
yeah,
The
the Straight Edge Society, I
Straight Edge
think.
Society. They
Or
have
yeah,
all
they
those
have
guys
Serena
on that.
Deeb and
They could have a
Gallows.
reunion.
Yeah, yeah.
They
That
could. I'm just saying.
yeah, shave her head again. She's a good worker though. I like Serena Deeb. That's a good idea. I'd love to see that. They have to
There's
call it They'd have to call it something different or Vince will sue them.
probably, but that I if they were to do that, that would only reaffirm one of my biggest issues with AEW, and probably my only issue. They got too many factions, man.
Yeah,
They got
that
way too
yeah
many factions. They're
yeah
kind of doing a little overboard with that. That's probably my only critique
yeah.
on
I heard
AEW overall.
Brandon really reads all the dirt sheets, and he's saying that they might get a 6-man tag team for AEW because they got so many factions and whatnot.
Yeah, just like Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love me
First
some
time I
Ring of
saw
Honor.
that, I was dumbfounded. I'm like, a 6-man tag team championship? What? All
Yeah.
right, whatever.
Yeah. They used to do it in I think it was back in the day with the Von Erich promotion. I can't think of the name, but I think they used to do it back in the day with NWA and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
I was
then
about to
that
say Von Erichs. That's NWA, isn't it?
yeah.
Or at least it
Well,
used to be.
they had their own promotion. I can't think of the name though. But Ruby Ruby Soho beat the Bunny in a 3-star match, and Men of the Year and Junior Del Santos beat Inner Circle in the main event, 4-star match. Well, Junior Del Santo did all right for a mixed martial artist in his first match. Did you catch Rampage?
I didn't catch Rampage. I caught a few things on AEW Dark.
Uh,
Is I might be a little outdated here. Is that those aren't the Dark Order guys, are they?
what's that?
The guys that fought the Elite? Because there
Uh,
was a 6-man tag. I can't remember if it was Rampage or AEW Dark, but
no,
they
it was
had.
no, it was Men of the Year was basically Scorpio Sky
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
and the other I can't think of his name off the tip of my tongue right now.
Yeah,
But
I
they're
got that mixed up because the main event for AEW Dark recently was Adam Cole and the Young Bucks against the Dark Order,
oh
and
yeah,
uh, and I love the Dark Order because they got Alan Angels and Cody Vance, two former Southern Honor wrestlers,
that's awesome, man.
and I love to see my boys on TV.
That's
But
cool, man. That's
they had a good
awesome.
match, and of course it's Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Adam Cole, baby.
Baby!
Yeah, but I gave Rampage overall 4 stars. I guess we'll flip on up to Saturday Night Dynamite, which was different because I forgot that they were on Saturday night last week.
I had no idea until you just mentioned it. I thought they were
Yeah,
still Wednesdays.
yeah, they're doing the Saturday night right now because I went on I was pumped up for Dynamite on Wednesday, and hockey was on. I was like, oh yeah, they're on Saturday. So
So Dynamite's on Saturday. When's Rampage?
Rampage is Friday night. So
So
they
two
doing
nights
back.
back to back.
Yeah, they have to do
Damn.
that for the. I think the rumor is they're going to TBS, so they don't have to keep on
I heard about
postponing
that.
their. So they don't have to keep on postponing their shows to Saturday.
Hmm.
That's what Brandon was telling me. But yeah, I gave the overall Rampage of 4 stars. But Saturday Night Dynamite, it started out with Malachi Black. Don't want to say Alistair. Vince will sue me. Malachi Black defeated Dante Martin. That Dante Martin kid is awesome, especially for today's wrestling. He's not a Bret Hart, tell a story type guy. For today's high spot wrestling, he's very good. I want to see him on the mic though. I haven't heard him do a promo yet.
There might be a reason you haven't seen him on the mic
Yeah,
yet, so you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Sometimes they realize, okay, he can't talk. Let's just have him
yeah.
wrestle.
That's probably better
You never
than
know. Maybe he can, but if he
yeah.
could, they probably would have utilized it by now.
Yeah, I would think so. That was a 4-star match. Dante Martin gave Malachi Black the best match that he's had so far.
Hmm.
Uh, then the AAA tag team belts were defended by Lucha Brothers. They lost the titles to the FTR. I forgot the name. They had the mask, the gimmick.
It was
They
they were
came
the
out.
green masked guys or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, they came out. That was that was blow my mind. It was like the Conquistadors back in the day with Edge and Christian and the Hardys.
Yes,
Remember
the
that?
gold suits.
Yeah, and the Conquistadors were actually a team back in the late '80s.
Hmm.
They were on one of the Survivor Series. I can't remember exactly, '88 or '87, but it was
But
kind of
hey,
cool.
FTR got another tag titles. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, they're they're definitely one of the best tag teams in the business right now. So
Hmm.
good for them. I'm sure they'll have a rematch, maybe probably at Full Gear for the AEW tag teams, maybe
Maybe unification,
unification.
something.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
I always like to see some kind of a tag team unification, belt for belt kind of thing in a
yeah,
cage or a ladder or something of that
yeah,
nature.
yeah. It'd be interesting to see FTR in a ladder match. I don't think I remember him being in a ladder match or too many ladder
Not
matches.
that
If
I'm
that's
aware of.
so.
The only ladder match I've WrestleMania 33, I think, is the only ladder match I've ever seen them in,
No, that's true.
and
Yeah,
nobody remembers that because the only one people can remember from that was the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, the biggest pop. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, the
I
Hardy
was
Boys
there that
coming back.
weekend and I saw the Hardys
Oh
compete
yeah,
in two ladder matches
cool.
back to back nights. They had the Ring of Honor where they fought the Young Bucks in a ladder match, and then the very next night was WrestleMania. I'm like, two matches in 24
Back to
hours?
back. They're
These
tough,
guys got to
man.
be sore as hell.
They're tough. Them two are like,
Yeah.
especially Jeff Hardy coming off those dives and all he used to do back in the day. Which is kind of going off topic here, kind of pisses me off. They've been jobbing Jeff Hardy left and right. It's like it doesn't.
He's
He's not
jobbing to
even.
Austin Theory, baby.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, at least he's one of the old guys. But the, I just like to see him at least get some kind of recognition and maybe, or I love to see him go to AEW, get with his brother. That'd be awesome.
Obviously, what happened on Raw, they're going to continue this feud with Jeff Hardy and Austin Theory because even though Austin Theory won the match 2 weeks in a
Yeah, they
row,
were doing the selfies.
They did Jeff did the selfie thing, so they got to have a thing. But like I said, Austin Theory is a former Southern Honor guy,
Yeah,
and
biggest win of his career, I would say, huh? Close,
maybe
top three, maybe. I can't think it. Jeff
the
Hardy's
only the
definitely
only
a
other
Hall of
match that I
Famer.
can think of, there was that one match he unified the Evolve Championship and the WNA Championship in one night. And that was the biggest victory he had had thus far. But obviously beating Jeff Hardy, a future Hall of Famer, that's a big step for him.
Oh yeah, that put
And
him on the map.
big time. And he's got something of a gimmick, like the selfie of death.
Yeah, I loved him I loved him with the click with in the way the way he him and Johnny Gargano would go
Yeah.
back and forth was
Yeah.
classic. But it's good to see him
He
in.
had a few really good matches in NXT. I remember
Yeah,
the first time he was ever on TV was Christmas. He fought what was his name? He fought for the NXT North American Championship. It was one of Adam Cole's guys.
uh, Roderick. No, did Robert Strong have the title?
Roderick
Yeah,
Strong, yeah.
yeah,
It
Roderick
was
Strong.
Austin Theory. He had a 20-minute match with Roderick Strong for the North American Championship on
Yeah,
Christmas Day,
yeah, I
and I
remember
was
that.
like,
That was
dude,
classic.
kicking
That was a
ass.
classic. He's awesome. I like Austin Theory. He's a good heel. He's kind of the chicken shit heel, but that's what I like. You know, the slimy Tully Blanchard type heel. I love it. Like
Yeah.
that's I
But
like
let me
that
just
better than
say
the
though,
monster heel.
Austin Theory, he jumped from bottom of the totem pole wrestling in
Yeah.
Georgia to Evolve
Oh,
wrestling in 2 years.
yeah. He's a
This
great worker.
guy, he moves up the ladder quick because he's that devoted to the craft. I guarantee you, a lot of people are hating on him now just because he's beating Jeff Hardy, but I guarantee you, in 3 years, Austin Theory will be a top guy in WWE.
Yeah, he might be a multiple world champion. He's
I don't know
got
about world
potential.
champion, but I definitely see the US or IC title in his future.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
And
no
he's only
doubt.
24. He's
Yeah,
got
just his sky is the limit with that dude. As long as he's
yeah.
stay healthy, yeah, he's
Yep.
awesome. He's one of my favorites, definitely. And back
I'm a
to
little
Dynamite.
biased, but that's just me.
I hear you, man. You gotta like I wrestled for Kata Pro Wrestling from 2000 to 2007,
You know,
and I'm always biased to Mickey James and Sanjay Dutt. You know, they're my peeps. So
I've
I
met
knew
Mickey
them.
James on 5 different occasions, and
Cool.
it was always just like an accidental thing, but she recognized me every time.
Yeah, she's
So it's
awesome. She's a
very
good.
sweet of her to do that.
Yeah, I knew her back then, and she's a sweet girl, and she
Did you ever
deserves
get to
all
see
the accolades.
her perform in concert ever?
I know no,
I
no.
got to see her perform once, and she signed my CD for me. And she's got her music has got a really good sound to it. You should check
Yeah,
it out.
yeah, yeah. I will definitely, definitely. And then we
Let's
got
get back on track.
Dynamite. We had third match was John Moxley beat Wheeler Utah in a one star smash match.
That was a
and
smash. I did see
yeah.
that.
And then the elite beat the Dark Order in a 4-star match. And what my highlight of that match was when what Evil Uno did Sacco. I didn't see that coming.
Was that
What
Dynamite or was that Dark?
That's Dynamite.
Was that a 6 man?
Yeah,
Then I did see that. Okay, I got
yeah.
it. I got it mixed up.
And Evil Uno did the Sacco. I was just a tribute to Mick Foley. That thing that was just I didn't see
I
that coming.
I saw that and I'm like, what in the world is going on
Yeah.
here? That didn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me,
No,
but
it didn't make any sense. It was just funny. It was just funny. I thought it was
there's a lot of
hilarious.
random. AEW is great for unpredictability, but they do a
Yeah.
lot of random crap
Random.
on there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like ECW back in the day was did a lot of random crap, but it was awesome. Uh, the, that was one of the best things going on in the '90s, at least back then. The mid '90s or late '90s, I should say.
I saw those documentaries. Half the time, they didn't even know what was going to happen until like an hour before their
Yeah, just
matches.
yeah, it's true. That's guess that's why I was random. And
Um,
then MJF did a gimmick with Darby Allin,
yep,
knowing he wasn't going to be there,
yep.
and
And then who
that's
shows up?
yep,
Sting.
yep, the Stinger, WCW's greatest attraction.
So could
Uh,
this potentially lead to Sting versus MJF? We'll see.
Possible, possible, yeah. And then Penelope Ford beat Kara Hogan at 3-star match. Kara Hogan, I think she could be a top star eventually. I love her in Impact. She was
She was
really
very good
good.
in Impact. We had her
Yeah.
at one Southern Honor show one time.
Oh
She
yeah.
fought Danny Jordan, and been following her ever since.
Yeah, she's
She's
awesome.
killing it on Impact, and it's about time that she's on AEW.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And then the next match was Brian Danielson versus Bobby Fish. This was a 4-star classic. It just was. It's nice to see Bobby Fish getting picked up in AEW. And then them two just they could have match after match, and I wouldn't get bored.
It's kind of hard to give Daniel Bryan a bad opponent. He can
Yeah,
make anybody look
yeah,
good.
true. This is true. Yes,
But
sir.
all of that, God, I cannot wait for the rematch with Kenny Omega. That first one they had was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the best match of the year by far
And
as
the
main
the
TV.
time limit was 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Well,
They went. It's the
third,
first
yeah,
time I've seen a
yeah,
30-minute match, and I wasn't bored a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
It was awesome,
It's like
and the
30-minute
crowd.
match. They went overtime,
Yeah,
and well, not overtime, but they ran out of time, and
yeah,
now everyone's like, "Oh my god, let's do an Iron Man match just so we
yeah,
can see a
yeah.
winner."
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. That
They're
would
gonna
be
do a
awesome.
repeat of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart,
Hard
1 hour wrestling.
one
Nobody
eye
beats each other.
overtime. Yeah, and the crowd was so in. I haven't seen a crowd hot
Oh my
like that
god,
in years. That was
because
just
because it was like
two of the
arguably the
best.
two. I would dare say two of the very very best. I
Yes,
mean,
I agree. I
they're not the
agree.
biggest guys. They're not the strongest. They're not the most
Well,
charismatic.
that
But
does
as far as wrestling
wrestling.
goes,
Yeah, in ring performance
Kenny
and
Omega and
telling his
Daniel
story.
Bryan Center, you don't get any better than those
No,
guys.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, 100%. That was the main event, and I give the Dynamite four stars overall, maybe 4.5. And then they opened up with the brackets for the Full Gear tournament there.
For the championship,
Yeah, we
I
had
did catch um who's the big scary guy with Jake the Snake?
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. I did see he crushed somebody to advance.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
then
I
again,
can't
who
remember
doesn't?
who it was.
He crushes almost everybody.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him get a little push. He's got a good following right now. He's one of the few big men that can go right now in AEW. I mean, mostly it's cruiserweight,
Yeah, yeah.
competitors.
AEW. They Cody Rhodes himself said that they're definitely middleweight to lower weight
Yeah,
wrestlers primarily, which is good because you see a
yeah.
lot more crazy
Well,
action.
Shawn
But
Michaels and Bret Hart back in the day, the classics they
yeah,
had. All I love that kind of almost a shoot wrestling, telling a story is the biggest thing right there, and they were two of the best. But yeah, the brackets. We've got Dark Order's number 10 versus Moxley. Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Dustin Rhodes versus Brian Danielson, Lance Archer's versus Eddie Kingston, and I'm kind of looking. That's
Oh,
going to be amazing to see who they put over on that one.
I'm
Lance
going to say
Archer,
Lance because if it was no DQ, I would say Eddie
yeah,
potentially, but
yeah,
if it, in a regular match, Lance, you know,
yeah, yeah. He's
Eddie's
been
not a wrestler. Eddie's a crazy hardcore guy.
yeah, hardcore, smash your mouth. I'm gonna beat you up type guy, which is perfect for his gimmick. He's just a New Yorker
Absolutely,
that wants to kick ass.
absolutely.
Yeah, and the one I'm looking forward to is Dustin Rhodes versus Brian Danielson. I know they'll probably job Rhodes, but I think that'll be a great match. Dustin looks great in his 50s, I guess.
Yeah, he's that's one of those matches where there's a lot of ways they can go. I'm sure Daniel has too much respect for him not to have a good match, and he can still go. He can't go nearly as good as he used to, of
Yeah,
course, but he
yeah,
can still go. So it'll be very interesting to see what him and Daniel pull out.
yeah. It's gonna be something to watch. It's gonna be interesting to see who the fans are behind on that one. But yeah,
Daniel.
that's yeah, definitely. Yeah, yes,
Let's
yes,
be
yes.
honest.
Yeah, yes, yes. They go nuts, and that uh, he deserves it too. He's a great guy out of the ring too. So that's awesome. We'll move along to Dark Elevation. We got Dustin Rhodes beat Gustafo in a smash match, 1 star. Wardlow beat Will Austin in a smash match, 1 star. Let's face it, Elevation's just hence the name. They want to elevate their stars, so that you're going to see a lot of smash matches. And then we got Santana Ortiz beat Jaka and Sean Maluto in a 2 star match, which was pretty decent for a smash match. And the main event, Nyla Rose, Emi Sakurai, and Diamante beat Kayleen King, Red Velvet, and
Thunder Rosa was in there too,
Thunder
right?
Rosa. Yeah,
Yep.
in a 3 star match, which was pretty decent for Dark Elevation. Did you check out Dark Elevation?
The
Did you
only
watch?
thing I saw was that 6 woman tag.
Yeah,
Just because it's got Red Velvet and it's got Thunder
yeah.
Rosa.
Thunder Rosa is
Thunder
one of
Rosa is
my
amazing.
favorites. Yeah, she's awesome. I can't wait to see her and Britt Baker go back at it in a rematch. Everybody forgets that Rosa won that hardcore match.
She did.
That was,
It was like the first women's match I ever saw with blood.
I know it was insane. It was best woman's match of the year. I think it was pretty good. But Dark Elevation got 2 stars overall, and we'll jump over to Raw. Xavier Woods defeated Jinder Mahal in a 3 star match, King of the Ring. Austin Theory, your boy, beat Jeff Hardy, 3 star match. That I think you're right. They're going to set up a little bit of a rivalry with them, which would be good.
They're going back and forth.
Yeah, that would be good to see. They're good. That was a good match. It could have been 4 stars. It was maybe 3.5. Uh, Big E and Drew McIntyre defeated Rude and
Dolph
Ziggler.
Ziggler and
Yeah,
Robert
Rude.
Roode.
Yeah, 4 star match. Might have been the match of the night. No, oh no, it wasn't. We got Mansoor beat Cedric Alexander in a 3 star match, and in a non-title match, RK Bro champions defeated who they defeat. I can't read my. Oh no, it was a no contest with Street Profits. I don't know why
Yeah.
I just put SP on there. I'm like, who the hell's SP? But that was a phenomenal match, 4 stars. No, it was no contest though. And then the Queen tournament, I like to call her Piper Nivens instead of Dewdrop, is just not a good name in my opinion. Beat
I don't
uh,
know.
Baszler for 2 stars. But she was really good at Piper Nivens in the NXT UK. I don't know why Vince always has to change the names. I don't know. I guess he wants them for himself. Who knows?
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I hear you.
Was wasn't Charlotte and Bianca Belair on that show, or am I thinking of a different
Yeah,
Raw?
no, no, that was the main event, and
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the better matches of the year, actually, even though it was just a
I'm
TP.
I'm so surprised with WWE Raw because this is like the second time they've had Charlotte and Bianca in the same ring together, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I the second I heard that Bianca Belair was going to Raw, I immediately thought to myself,
They're gonna
WrestleMania.
drop. Yep.
I'm like Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, WrestleMania. That's got WrestleMania written all over
Yeah.
it. Why are they putting them together like a week after that became possible on Raw? It's like that's wasteful. Put it on a
Well, they
pay
get.
per view at
Yeah,
least.
they gave it away. It reminds
Yeah.
me of the old Nitros. They used to. The Nitros were better than the pay per views back in the day. Well,
Sometimes
not
that
all the time.
happens.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
not
not
all the time.
complaining, but I was just like, I dare say Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair, they're probably the two single most athletic female
Yes.
wrestlers that WWE
Yes.
has ever had.
Yeah.
Not
Period of
currently,
discussion. Ever.
ever
Yeah.
had. They are the premier athletes,
Yeah.
and those they
Great
have it
gimmicks too.
all. Great gimmicks. They
Charisma.
work their gimmicks. They're charismatic. I mean,
And Bianca's good on
Charlotte,
the mic too. She's
yeah,
getting better. She's getting good.
yeah, she
So
can hold her own
yeah,
in the bounds of her character. But I'm just like Charlotte, Charlotte and Bianca. How do you not?
it's magic. Yeah.
That's WrestleMania, man.
Yep.
That's
That's
like,
what
oh,
I.
but
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it went over with a DQ, so maybe people
Yeah.
would be like, "Yeah, who can
Yeah,
really
so far we
win?"
haven't seen a decisive winner, so I feel like
Yeah,
they're building up something there.
I think they were trying to tease it just to see the reaction, maybe, and
Yeah,
see how it was. But Bianca is doing great, and I still think I know AEW's got a good women's division, but I still think WWE's got the best women's
I'm
division.
sorry. That's probably the best thing WWE has going for them is
Yeah,
their women's
true.
division. They have never had a better women's
Yeah,
division than
yeah,
they do right now. But
yeah,
AEW, I mean, up until recently, their women's division was really lacking, in my opinion.
yeah. I agree.
They've gotten a few new ladies that are taking it up a notch, but AEW is killing it in their main events, the mid card, and the tag team division. They got too many factions going on,
Yeah,
and they got really, yeah. Like I mentioned, the faction thing is, but my other complaint, their roster is too damn big.
yeah, and
They
they
got
keep on
too
signing
many
people.
guys. Yeah.
They keep on signing people. Impact is the one that really needs more
Every time
stars.
WWE drops somebody, AEW picks them up, and I'm just
It's
like, don't
yeah.
do the same mistake that TNA did,
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
make that
Or
mistake.
Bischoff
Yeah,
with WCW did the
yeah,
same thing too. Killed all the WCW talent, and all the old WWE guys got the push instead.
yeah.
Well, it was awesome at the time, but it didn't help
And
out
it's
Eddie.
awesome right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you got the potential of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan facing each other
Yep.
again. You
Or
got
CM Punk
or
and
Daniel
Omega.
Bryanson, whatever. You got all these amazing matches that you haven't seen in a decade.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got so much young. That was what was so exciting about AEW in the first place. They're introducing so much amazing indie talent that most people had never seen on television. I know that I was being introduced to a lot of guys for the first time. Um, Orange Cassidy, I had only seen one YouTube video of him before AEW, and I was just like, "Who is this guy who's wrestling with
Yeah.
his hands in his pockets?
I
What
didn't
the
get it at
hell?"
first, and then now I love it.
Well, the first time I saw him wrestling on YouTube with his hands in his pockets, he was just bouncing around the ring, doing all these high flying moves with it. I'm like, I was just admiring the athleticism of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I'm like, the
awesome.
gimmick is kind of silly,
Yeah.
but it's like this guy, the fact that he can do this with no
Or
hands, holy crap!
try to take a bump with your hands in your
Oh
pockets.
my god, yeah,
That they don't teach you that in wrestling
yeah.
school. I know for firsthand.
Or like Orange, they took him to a new level with his rivalry with Jericho,
Yeah,
and you know, Darby Allin. That's another former Georgia wrestler, and
really.
he took off. He was never in Southern Honor. He left Georgia long before that, but he's taken off like a damn rocket.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of
He's one of the top
guys that
stars there.
AEW has turned into stars, but a lot of times I feel like the Jurassic Express doesn't get the love that
Yeah.
they deserve. I feel there's a lot of
Luchasaurus is a good for a big boy, man.
Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy.
Jungle
My
Boy is awesome.
God.
Yeah.
I will never forget that match that Jungle Boy had with MJF that
Yeah.
nobody saw coming.
Yeah.
They tore the house down in a
They did.
20-minute match that nobody thought.
Yeah.
People were thinking like 8 minutes, 10 tops. They
Yeah.
killed it. And
That's
I'm like,
another.
Jungle Boy's got something if they can just get him, some love. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like they
I
need to tone
agree.
down their roster. They got too many
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. You get people are getting lost in the shuffle
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
and that's yeah. You don't need that. But MJF. Speaking of MJF, he's in my opinion, he's the best heel in the business. He goes out and says what he old school Piper. I can see that in him,
I
just
would
coming
dare
out
say
and
the
pissing
rivalry
him.
with Jericho is the rivalry of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
They feuded for literally for a year.
A full year. Yeah, that's true.
And who will
And
ever forget their little musical number?
yeah,
I told my buddy Nathan, I mentioned my buddy Nathan earlier, the guy who does work for Southern Honor and AEW. He does like the last 5 or 6 music videos that Chris Jericho has done with his band Fozzy. Nathan was the director of all of those.
oh
I got to be
wow,
in 2 of them thanks
that's
to
awesome.
Nathan, but I told Nathan when I saw it, I'm like, only Jericho could pull off a musical number in wrestling. And he's like, damn
Mhm.
right, only
Yeah.
Jericho could do that.
And kudos to Jericho for getting these young talents over too.
He's
He,
getting a lot of guys under
yeah.
Sammy Guevara for one
Oh
thing,
yeah.
the new TNT
Yeah.
champion.
Oh yeah.
That
I
I
didn't see
mean,
that
I
coming.
never
I
even
thought.
heard of him
Yeah.
until he hooked up with Jericho.
Yeah. I thought Roof. What is it? Miro now. I guess I almost said Rusev, but I thought he
It's
was
so
going
tough. It's so
crazy.
tough. All these guys switching names.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with it.
But Miro, I thought he was undefeated and he was gonna not smash him. I thought it was gonna be a good match, but I thought he was gonna keep the title, and that totally threw me off when Sammy won, which he should. He
Mm.
deserves it, definitely. All
I've
right.
been impressed with Sammy on a number of occasions, but the match that really caught my attention was the match that he had with Matt Hardy, the Hardy Compound.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They
That was something different. That was cool.
Yeah,
Real
my
cool.
buddy Nathan was filming that. He was one of the cameramen
Really?
for
Yeah.
that match,
All
and
right.
he
Cool.
said it was like the dream come true, getting to
Yeah.
film a Hardy Compound match. And but I'm like that was the match that to me made Sammy Guevara a star. He was already
Yeah.
getting there, but
Yeah.
that was something special.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I would dare say that they're doing more with the TNT Championship than with the AEW title
Yeah. Well,
because they're making amazing matches for the AEW title, but
it's
the
like the old
TNT title,
Intercontinental title
it
back in the
is.
day.
They're using that to create stars.
Yeah.
Because Cody Rhodes was the first champion, but it's like almost every champion since then has been a new guy.
Yeah. And it's
Darby Allin and Morrow and Sammy Guevara is like they're making some serious stars with
yeah.
that title.
Like down the road, I'd love to see Sammy go against Omega. That I think that would be a
That it would
phenomenal.
probably be a couple of years down the road, but that would
Yeah.
be a 5-star
Oh yeah.
match
Oh
easily.
yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Or Daniel Bryanson, hell,
Oh
CM
yeah.
Punk. The
Yeah.
possibilities are endless.
Possibilities are
Pac.
yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to see. I could watch Pac fight anybody.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
He's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what was I going to say? Oh, going back to what you were saying earlier about Dynamite going to TBS. I heard a lot of fans talking about this. So what's going to happen to the TNT title? Are
Yeah.
they going to call it the TBS title? That's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
I'm like that would not. That doesn't sound as cool.
Yeah. Well, the TBS title is going to be with the women now. They
Are you
pulled
joking?
out.
Or is that
No,
for
I
real?
swear to God, they pulled out a TBS title, and that's going to be the women's Intercontinental title, I guess, with the
So the women
TBS logo.
are interesting.
Yeah, I guess
So
they
they're going
want
to have
Brit.
the AEW Women's Championship and the TBS Women's
Yeah,
Championship.
it'll be like their Intercontinental women's title, I guess, which will get some stars over. Like you got Thunder Rosa could be there, Jade Cargill,
I
she,
suppose. I don't know if their women's
Kiera
roster is strong
Hogan.
enough to justify another
Yeah,
championship, but
true, true. I was kind of
that's debatable, I
yeah.
suppose.
We'll see. I agree with you there. And they still got to kind of get it built up a little bit better. But I see Britt Baker having that title for a while. I think they want a title that they can put on TV, like the or TNT title, I should say. You know,
Well, she in a lot of ways she's the total package. She's a
yeah.
beautiful
Oh
woman.
yeah.
She's got a character that she is owning.
Awesome. Yeah.
She's good on the mic. She's good in the ring, and she's the perfect heel champion. She really is.
Isn't she dating Adam Cole, baby?
I have no idea,
I think so. Yeah.
but if she
That's a
is,
good trainer.
that's a good trainer, absolutely.
Yeah. And but they let's see where we at. finish up Raw. We had the
We still got to talk about Crown Jewel, good sir.
yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Oh, we got, but that's all good. We'll blast through these other things. We got Finn Balor beat Mason a 3-star match, and Bianca Belair beat. We already talked about that. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was phenomenal, even with a DQ. Then we go into NXT 2.0. We got Odyssey Jones beat Andre Chase in 3 stars. We got Imperium beat the Creed brothers 4 stars, and MSK came out to help. And at the end, and they got booed, but Imperium was getting cheered, which was interesting. Then we got Cora Jade beat Lopez in a 3-star match, which was kind of an upset there. And then we had, let's see here, Io Shirai beat Persia Piroth and Jane in a uh, in a 3-star match. We had Tony
A
D'Angelo
lot of
beat,
3 stars on that show.
yeah. Well, ever since they went to 2.0, it hasn't been as good, in my opinion.
I haven't even seen any of the 2.0. I just recently, I'm like, when did they go tie dye?
Yeah. Well, Vincent or Bruce Pitcher and Vince took it over. Triple H ain't it doesn't
Yeah,
have it
Triple H
anymore.
is no longer in charge of NXT.
That's crazy.
I think that's going to be a major problem.
Yeah, it is. He had every show was almost like a pay per view almost.
Yeah, Triple H
Yeah.
knew he knows how to do a show. I
Yes.
really and I he was sick. I know that, so that may have been
Yeah.
a
He had.
factor.
Yeah.
But
And well, I think he got sick after the news of getting after what happened because it came out that he was getting not released, but he was not going to do it, and then he got sick after that. Yeah, I was like, damn, it's not worth getting sick over, man. But he's
well,
passionate.
that's his baby.
Yeah, yep, and
But I don't know how true that connection is. But you never know.
yeah, yeah. Well, it could be, could not be, but we got Phantasmo beat Briggs and Jansen in a 3-star match. Uh, L.A. Knight defeated Grayson Waller in a 3-star match. So LA Knight's gonna be the host of Halloween Havoc next week, and then in the main event, Tommaso Ciampa, and I like to call him Steiner. Well, everybody knows he's Steiner. Braun Breaker defeated the grizzled young veterans in a 4-star match. So I give NXT 2.0 3 stars overall, and we'll skim up over here. Got the we'll go ahead and jump into Crown Jewel. Um,
All right.
how far did you get? Did you watch?
I know the results. As far as
Okay.
I watched all the way up until Xavier Woods winning King of the Ring. That's as far as I
Yeah.
got as far as seeing the matches.
Okay.
Um, but let's kick it off with the opening match, Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell, I think was the best match of the night. 5 stars. Edge and Seth Rollins tore it up.
As far
Great.
as Hell in a Cell's without blood, that was probably about as good as it
Yeah,
gets.
yeah. PG, and we got Mansoor defeated Mustafa Ali in a four
He
star.
always wins in Saudi Arabia, so
Yeah, he's
that's
undefeated,
he
and
never loses.
yeah, he's
You could put him
undefeated.
against
Goldberg.
you put him against Goldberg, he'll win. I think that's the first time Goldberg ever won in Saudi Arabia. Maybe
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I'm not sure. I can't. Like I said, my memory is bad nowadays. I just hit the 40. So yeah. We got the for the Raw Tag Team titles. RK Bro beat AJ Styles and Omos in a 4-star match.
Let me just say this: Riddle coming out on a camel.
That was awesome. I loved it.
That
He's the
was
best.
reminiscent of WrestleMania 9, baby.
Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan coming out backwards on a
Oh my
camel.
god! But I'm like,
You get,
of course Riddle comes out in a camel. Why the
yeah.
hell not?
Well, you know why? You don't want to know why? Possibly.
Sure, it works for him, or you'll never see Randy Orton get on a camel. I tell you that right now.
That's
He'll
yeah.
he'll give the camel an RKO, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
Boom. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Then we had that was 4-star match. Then Zelina Vega beat Dewdrop for the Queen title in a 3-star match. What'd you think
I will
about that
say her
one?
finish was pretty solid. I didn't.
Yeah,
It's always to see such a big person take that move.
yeah.
What does she call it? Red something?
Uh, Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
I can't remember
Code
either.
Red,
But
Code Red, I think.
Code Red, that's what she
Code Red.
calls it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen a lot of guys do that move. But to see like Dewdrop is quite literally twice her size.
Hmm.
Zelina Vega is even by the WWE women's standards, she is tiny.
Small. Yeah.
She is tiny. I think she's smaller than Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, a little bit. I think she's 4 foot like 10, 11. I think she's under
yeah,
5 feet. But yeah, she's starting to get into her own. I was hesitant at first, but she's starting
I
to do better.
yeah, I mean, I ever since she came back, I figured they'd give her a good push, and it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. She's the
Yep,
queen of the
she's
ring,
the
or
queen.
yeah, and that'll give her a good heel run.
And Piper Nivens or Dewdrop, she's a phenomenal worker. She really made it look good too. She was
She's gotten over so quickly in such a short period of
yeah.
time, and kudos to her, man. She's working it.
Yeah, she's doing good. I always liked her in NXT UK. She was really
Yeah.
good in that. And we got the Falls Count Anywhere, no holds barred. Goldberg beats Bobby Lashley in a 4-star match.
I'm glad you said it because they were always promoting this as a no holds barred match, and then I'm like,
Hmm.
wait,
Falls Count Anywhere.
I'm like, last time I checked,
Hold on. I'm sorry.
uh-oh, outside interference.
Outside interference. What's up?
Brandon's trying to get a hold of you.
I can't. We'll just have to. We're almost done.
We got like 4 minutes left.
Well, he's watching.
Okay. Tell him I'm sorry. Wait. All right. It's all good. Sorry about that. Uh, all right. Yeah, what we were saying about Goldberg and Bobby Lashley.
Well, I said I'm glad you said it because they had been promoting it as no holds barred. And I'm like, last time I checked no holds barred, you got to pin them in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the finish was a
Yeah.
great spot, but I'm like,
Yeah,
that
I
was the
love that
first time I
finish.
had ever heard of
Yeah.
Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah.
They could have just
Falls.
promoted it like that from the start, but I got
I think
whatever.
it probably was like a 2 day before, and then they're like, let's do this, and maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe.
It's like, what can we do to make Goldberg look good?
Yeah.
Let's do something outside of the ring for a
Outside of
change.
the box. Yeah, I
But that
thought it
was
was
a hell
good
of a
for
finish. I
Goldberg.
liked that.
That
It
was the
was almost
best.
that was almost a squash.
Yeah, yeah,
That was like
yeah.
Bobby Lashley getting
Got
squashed
his
by
ass kicked.
Goldberg.
Yeah,
Who'd have thought of that?
yeah, that's true. But I thought it was Goldberg's best match by far since his rivalry with Lesnar. I would say
Absolutely.
so.
I've said it ever since he came back. The best match he had since he returned was WrestleMania 33, and that match was 6 minutes.
Yeah, but you got
You
to keep
know,
Goldberg under 10 minutes, or it's just not going to work unless you're DDP and you can carry his ass.
well, 20 years ago, yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not today.
yeah.
Today, if you that was,
It's not
I
going to
think
work.
that match was 8 minutes, nine. Oh,
Yep. Yep. That's what I was. That's what I told Brandon last week. I was like, if they go 6 to 8 minutes, they'll be golden. But if it's over 8 or 9 minutes, it's gonna be shit.
but yeah, Goldberg finally had a good match on
Yeah.
a big event, and good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good
It
spots, good
was.
spots,
It
lots of
was.
tables, good stuff.
Yeah. That's what he's got. That's what he's got to do. King of the Ring. I love this match. Xavier Woods went over Finn Balor. I thought Balor was going to win. It was a mild upset in my opinion, 4 stars, but it was a phenomenal match, and I'm glad to see Xavier get the crown.
I would agree that it was an upset, but I think that was the point
Yeah,
because
he's the underdog.
it made perfect sense that Xavier is the only New Day guy that has not had any success as a singles, and now that Big E is the champion, it just made all the sense in the world to give Xavier Woods some love in the singles division. So the second I saw, before I even saw the finals, I was like, Xavier's got it.
Well, he
I
was
thought it, I thought it
begging
was going to
on.
be, you know,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I thought it was going to be Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal just because it's Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
yeah.
Because I figured, okay, that's perfect. The
He's gonna get a
Jinder
lot of
Mahal, the
heat.
bad guy who's Middle Eastern with all
Yeah.
the other Middle Easterners, but they gave it to
Mm.
Finn Balor. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they're throwing all the gimmicks aside. They're just going to have a good
Great
wrestling
match.
match. And I would agree that Xavier Woods going over on Finn Balor, a former Universal Champion, is an upset. However,
That was
It
kind of
just
the point.
it's perfect timing. It makes perfect sense for Xavier Woods to get some shine as a singles
Yeah.
finally,
Oh yeah.
because
And
he
well,
definitely
big.
has what it takes to be a good singles wrestler.
I agree. I agree. He had Kofi won the title and Big E's the champion now, so he's got to step it up.
Yeah,
So that was great.
it's his time to shine.
Yep, definitely. And we jumped to the WWE Championship, which I thought was 5 stars. Big E versus Drew McIntyre. I thought it was amazing. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But I'm a Big E fan, so I'm Big E Mark, I should say. I'm
Yeah,
glad he's got the title. Dude
I
can
still
breast
haven't.
bench almost 600 pounds.
My God, that was a 575 bench, is what it was. I'll never forget that video. All those guys so
Jeez.
fired up.
He is something else. But Drew McIntyre is pretty strong too. That was nice to see them go back and
Drew
forth.
is, my God, a man his size, his athleticism is off the charts.
Yeah. Oh
He's a
yeah.
beast. He's a
He's
beast.
he's going to be a top star for a long time to go. He's
Yep.
still young too.
Yeah. I
And then
still
we
haven't
had
seen that match, but I'll definitely check it out. I believe
it
you.
was awesome.
I believe that was a good match.
I won't say anything, but it was awesome. You'll like it. Um, and we got SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch successfully defended her title against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. She pinned Belair, and it was a 4-star match there. Um, but it was pretty good.
I
And
was expecting it to be amazing. I haven't
yeah,
seen it yet,
it was pretty good. It
but
was
I'm
pretty.
like,
I'm not a
all
big
three of
three.
us. Go ahead.
I'm not a big three triple threat person, but they did really good. They told a good story.
Well, I was
You'll
just when the last pay per view when Sasha Banks interfered in the match between Becky and Bianca. I was going out of my mind because I'm like, okay, we already know that Sasha and Bianca have amazing chemistry. WrestleMania, hello.
yeah.
We already
Well,
know that Becky and Sasha have great chemistry, and we clearly saw that Becky and Bianca have great chemistry. So I'm like, the three of them in a triple threat.
yeah. It was
Damn.
amazing. It was really good.
I cannot wait to watch that match. I'm truly expecting magic. We'll see what happens.
There's a
You already know.
there's a spot in there that was phenomenal. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give you any spoilers.
Um,
Um, and then the main event: Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, who I think this was their best match. I gave it 4 stars.
of the night,
No, or not the
better
of the
than Hell
night.
in a Cell.
No. I would say it's Roman Reigns and
Oh, between Roman and
them
Brock. Oh,
two.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. And Brock looked good. He trimmed down a little bit, and it was 4 stars. I'd have to give the whole pay per view 5 stars. I thought it was the best WWE pay per view I've seen all year, actually.
Well, I'm going to the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I imagine it would be, at least be different because this was the first time they fought where Roman was a heel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when was the last time
That's true.
Brock was a face?
Yeah,
Ever.
it was awesome to see Brock get cheered. Everybody hates Roman anyway, so
Well,
he-
it's about time. I've been saying it for years. Like Roman, he's been doing this gimmick for over a year now, but it's like
Mhm.
finally he's got a gimmick that works.
Yep, yeah,
Because it took him forever to find it, but
yeah.
he
To
finally
me,
got it.
he's the next. He's kind of like the John Cena gimmick. John Cena got booed for all those years, and I kept waiting for him to turn heel, and it never happened.
Well, and he never turned heel because it would ruin everything. But
Well, yeah,
he was making too much
kids,
money as a face.
yeah, all the kids stuff and souvenirs and all that kind of stuff that would
But on
take a lot
top of
out of his
that, it
pocket.
almost part of Cena's gimmick was the fact that he refused to turn heel, even though the
Yeah,
fans wanted him to, and that was always the anticipation because
yeah,
they kind of hinted a few opportunities where he might,
yeah,
but no, Roman. I'll never forget that promo that John Cena had with Roman Reigns, where John Cena just tore him a new one, where he's like, the only reason Vince keeps bringing me back is because you can't do your job. And it was time for Roman to cut his promo, and Cena was like, "It's called a promo, kid. You want to be a big dog, you got to learn how to do it." And I'm just like, "Jeez Louise."
Cena is pretty good on the mic.
Cena, I would definitely put Cena in the top 10 of greatest mic guys of all time.
Yeah,
He can come up with some pretty damn solid gold off the top of his head.
yeah.
Um, I'll
Well,
never.
that
There was this podcast I saw where they were interviewing Randy Orton, and they were asking Randy about Cena, and Randy Orton said that shoot, even John Cena will acknowledge that half the guys in the locker room are better wrestlers than him. but Randy Orton said word for word, as far as promos and talking on the mic, seen as light years ahead of
Hmm.
everybody else currently in the business, and I agreed with him.
Well,
Cena
it's all
was that
those.
good.
Not everybody's a rap fan, but I kind of like rap and hip hop. Well, same thing, but
Well, the
and
Doctor of Thugonomics character, that's
yeah,
what got him famous in the first
yeah,
place.
yeah. That's what got him the raps to the ring. But my point being, doing rap is not easy to do. So
Well, freestyle rap.
yeah, freestyle
Yeah.
rap is not easy to do,
And
and
Cena was good at that. And that
and that
helps.
showed he had to be a good talker to
Yeah.
do those raps
The
back in the day.
ability, the gift to
Hmm.
be able to come up with stuff off the top of
Yeah,
your head and
yeah.
make it
It's
make sense in a story. Thank God he was into hip hop. Otherwise, he would have never been able to do that. That was his training.
back in my party days. I used to be okay, but not now. uh,
I can
all right.
write stuff down, but I sure as hell can't
Yeah, me
deliver it.
too. I'm pretty good at rhyming on piece of paper, but when it comes to flowing, I guess, yeah, not that
But then
good.
again, most artists these days don't write their own material anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That is true. Well, that was the best pay per view I've seen in a long time from WWE. That kind of wraps up the show a little bit. It was a pleasure to have you on. I'd like to start promoting Southern Honor Wrestling on our podcast,
that would be nice.
and maybe we can get some of your people to come on maybe in the future.
We'll see what happens.
All right,
I can't make
cool.
any guarantees,
Oh, I
but
know, I know, I
that's
know.
always a fun thing to try. But
But it but it was great. How do you have fun
I didn't have any fun. What are you talking about?
and?
I was bored out of my mind.
Cool, man. But
Is he joking? I don't know.
it's all
No, it
good.
was a good time. It was a good time. You're a good dude.
Yeah, thank you. You're cool too, man.
We'll get Brandon on here next time. Sorry,
Yeah,
bro.
he kept on trying to text me, but I'm wearing a podcast. I can't. It's not that professional to keep on interrupting and stuff like that. So
But
it's
it's
all good.
perfectly professional for Tamara to jump in there in her robe.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's my technician. That's my technician.
There's your producer.
My producer. Yes, she's
Yes,
awesome. I wouldn't be anything without her. To tell you the truth.
damn right.
All right, so we're gonna close. Thank you for tuning in on Wrestling Rocks. All right. And stream captions, chat. All right. Graphics. Why is this doing here? All right.